Hi, everybody. This is awesome. Can everybody say awesome? Okay, we're going to break some barriers. And one of those is the belief that homelessness cannot be ended. One of the reasons I love speaking to young adults is because I believe you guys are going to end homelessness. And one of the things that we've got to change is a bunch of us old fogies have not been educated right. We don't really know the truth about homelessness. So I'm going to prove to you guys and do a little bit of education that we can end homelessness. Exhibit A, that's me. Homeless, Hollywood Boulevard, about 20 years ago. So I'm very lucky that I was born in a generation that every mobile device didn't have a camera. Otherwise, there would be a lot of really ugly photos of me. So I actually like that one. That's pretty cool. That's my iguana named Dog. I sold pictures of my iguana to tourists in front of the Chinese theater. But before that, I had a great job in the television industry, and I ended up homeless. Now, it took a couple years, but I rebuilt my life to a 3-bedroom house and 2-car garage and new car and pool in the backyard and success, and this thing called the economy tanked, and I lost everything again. So right around about 19 months of unemployment, I had a bag of socks, an iPhone, little Best Buy type camera, and social media, and I went out and started empowering homeless people to tell their own story, because really that's one group we're not hearing the truth from. And that's one group that we need to amplify the voices. One thing that I can leave you with today, that I hope to leave you with today, that, there's a lot of causes in the world, human trafficking, water, all this other stuff, is you can change the world. So whatever resources you have, you've got this little mobile device, something I didn't have when I was growing up, and you can use it to really have serious impact. So I started traveling in the last 4 years, about 200 cities, 6 different countries, and this is homelessness. This is the homelessness you see in the news. This is the homelessness that we all have been stereotyped to know, and it's a crisis. This was actually Fashion Week in New York City last year. So from the New York Times, stereotypes of poor people in the United States are among the most negative prejudices that we have, and people basically view particularly homeless people as having no redeeming qualities. So one of the issues is, one of the barriers is, that I believe, besides actually believing that we can do something and end homelessness, is that people just walk by. They don't care. And I don't necessarily, it's not that we don't care, we're busy, social norms. I don't have the emotional energy to stop and ask them what their name is. So 41% of the homeless population is comprised of families. 48% are families under the age of 18, or are children under the age of 18. That's homelessness. That's the homelessness that you don't see. 20% of homelessness is the guy with the cardboard sign you see on the exit ramp. 41% of homelessness are families with children. There are over 53,000 people in New York City's shelter system, and that was 1,200 families with 2,200 children. That was just this last November. We have a serious crisis. No redeeming qualities. These are actually homeless kids that I've had the pleasure of helping over the last couple of years. I mean, come on, look at that smile. These are kids. These are people. They're just like us. These are families just like us with stories. Young, her house burnt down. She didn't have any insurance. She's living in a tent in North Carolina. Rashid was at the World Trade Center at 9/38 on 9/11, and he spent the next 4 years of his life working construction, cleaning it up, developed health issues, lost his job, lost his apartment, lives in a park in New York City. Drew is an engineer. A drunk driver hit his wife, killed his wife and daughter. He went on a tailspin, trying to get out of homelessness. When I met him in Tampa, Florida, he said there was not a lot of support. Sabrina, she's 23, living under a bridge in Seattle. Muhammad has one arm, spent 6 years in jail. And the state of Illinois says he can work because he still has one good arm. State of Illinois doesn't give welfare. That means he cannot have an income. He can't get food stamps. He can't even get what's called general relief. So he has a choice of doing crime or panhandling. He's got one arm. His name's Muhammad. He's an African-American male, and he did 6 years in jail. Do you think anybody's going to hire him? Phil, a retired Navy veteran living in a RV in San Diego. This young mother was nearly arrested panhandling just to get diapers for her children. You all know food stamps and stuff, they don't come with diapers. There's no government assistance for diapers. She's raising a family, and her 11-year-old has brain cancer. Jordan's 19, putting himself through college, living in a tent in Sacramento. She's 18, living on the streets of Denver. She told me she was in 50 housing placements, foster care. Now, I thought that was a little much, but would you believe me if I told you I worked on television when I was on Hollywood Boulevard? Well, I checked with a social worker, and literally she has seen housing placement, foster homes. So imagine you're growing up and you get a new family every couple of months. And it's a problem with the foster care system because, a kid breaks a TV, they can turn them back. We need to fix foster care. So this photo was taken in 2000. They don't look that sick, do they? A third of them died in 2 years. And right now, only 2 people are still left alive. This is Catherine. This photo was taken in April. She died a couple weeks later in a park in Glendale. She was an RN, one of my good friends. Excuse me if I get a little emotional. Richard, I just met him in Ithaca just before the snow hit in December. His tent caught on fire, critical burns. He died the next day in the hospital. The significant problems we have cannot be solved at the same level of thinking with which we created them. I love that quote because it so fits. We've been doing the same old. So these are pictures, drawings, because there was no camera back then, of homeless shelters, late 1800s. That's the Los Angeles winter shelter system 2 years ago. See much difference? Same thinking, doing the same old thinking. That's how we're solving homelessness, basically warehousing it. And you guys are going to change it, and I'm going to give you some hope and some great information. First off, one of the things that we have to change is the paradigm, panhandling. People also, if it was interactive, people would say, well, he lied to me. I gave him $1, and he said he needed it for food, but he went in and bought a beer. He lied to me. And I always say, let's put it in perspective. Enron. If you don't know Enron, it was a major large corporation that lied to a lot of people. In fact, white-collar crime, criminals have lied and ripped off a lot more money than all the homeless in time ever will. So just trying to put it in perspective. And let's be real. They're going to the bathroom behind a dumpster. Let them have a beer. And I'm not advocating drug abuse or alcoholism. I have 20 years sober. My point is, the soccer mom's hitting the bottle, the lawyer's hitting the pipe, the postman's taking some pills to get through the day. These people are outside trying to survive. Let's just put it in perspective. So the number one thing that's happening, that's one of the crises, one of the paradigms, one of the barriers we're going to break today, is criminalization of homelessness. Criminalization of outlawing panhandling, outlawing panhandling and sit and lie is the fastest growing crisis. So here in North Carolina, they followed 37 chronic homeless people over 3 years. They're arrested almost 1,500 times, and it cost $2,708,000, $80,000. Utah's homeless shelter Road Home studied it. Permanent supportive housing, that means we get people into an apartment where they can have dignity and recover, costs $6,100. Compared to the shelter, like you saw the people in the cots, that's $6,600. Where jail is $25,000, the county jail is $35,000, and the state prison is $146,000. So as you're growing up, and the adults in here, when you see those laws of outlawing it, just start paying more taxes. Just start paying more taxes because you're paying for it. When you see that guy on the most expensive solution to ending homelessness is criminalization. The second is living them on the street. So when you see that guy with the cardboard sign, you're paying for them to be out there. $1 Million Murray, an article written by Malcolm Gladwell, documents how we paid $1 million to keep Murray out on the streets. So this is my friend Lanny. A couple years back, it was wintertime, and I bought him a sleeping bag. And I'm about to play a video that really dramatizes what I'm talking about, the barrier that we have to break and that homelessness can be ended. He's gone. He's gone. He's gone. He's out hiding.
And you know, when I was talking to this morning, I was trying to get, where did you go?
Whoa, 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 whoa. That's him.
Where?
Right up there.
Right up there to your right.
Yeah.
You want to stop?
Yeah, but pull up. Let me just go.
Because you're the one I actually trust.
You're going to make me cry, Lanny.
Because you're making me cry. Because I love you.
I love you too, Lanny.
And I don't want anything bad to happen. Tell me what you're going to help me with. Anything else?
Well, we're close. We're closest we've been in 3 years to get you into housing.
Okay.
We're the closest we've been.
I was a street outreach worker, and our mission in that previous program was to identify people that were particularly vulnerable because of their mental illness or addiction, and if we felt they might be a danger to people, we would take them to Bellevue Hospital. 2 or 3 weeks after the hospitalization, that same person would be back on the street. The repetition of that cycle began to be very disturbing and began to raise a number of questions of like, what are we doing? Maybe you have a little short-term gain, but that person just spent 30 days in the hospital at $1,500 a day. That's $45,000. We could have bought them a condo. Certainly paid the rent for a long time. What we decided to do was to start listening to the people on the street and take our cue about what to do from them. It led very, very quickly to the idea that housing is the most important thing to a homeless person, regardless of mental illness or addiction or anything else. And once they're housed, they'll consider maybe treatment, maybe reconnecting with family, maybe having their kids come back, maybe looking for a job. But the first response was always housing.
Here we are in Lanny's new apartment, and he actually went and did put all his cupboards and stuff away. That's pretty amazing, man. And how long has it been since you've had an apartment?
Oh, it seems like a century.
A century?
Yeah.
Well, almost has, because you were homeless since 2002.
Right.
That's insane.
Yeah, it is.
So, how you feeling?
Elated. Very good.
Yeah? It hasn't hit me yet.
I feel human again.
You feel human again. How did getting a set of keys make you feel different?
That I was finally home. That I was finally in a place where I can start focusing on bettering myself.
The remarkable thing was that people did so well. People once housed began to have a life, even though they still suffered with addiction and mental illness. People have a functional ability that is quite separate from their diagnosis, it turns out. You can believe that the government is after you, or that there are people flying in from outer space and they're going to, take over the planet. And leaving all that aside, you can still go, get a ham and cheese sandwich and some French fries and have a meal, or go shopping and all of that. They are like two hands doing independent things. So that was a great surprise, and I think most gratifying was the fact that people can get housed immediately from the street, and they can be supported to keep that housing.
I don't know if you noticed, but I want to highlight, Lanny said he felt human again. He's a Air Force veteran. Nobody's going to hire him. He'd be on the streets forever unless we gave him the dignity of housing. So housing first with permanent supportive housing saves lives and it saves money. So we can end homelessness. This is Joseph. Joseph was on the streets for many, many years, and when he came to us, he actually had maggots in his leg. And I'd been doing this for a long time, and I didn't think he was going to make it. The first thing we did was take him to the hospital. And I tried to get him to stay there. I was like, Joseph, man, you got nurses, and you got a bathroom, and you have I Love Lucy reruns. Stay here, because I thought he'd just go right back out to homelessness, and that was going to be his life. But a coworker had found a loophole on a grant, and we were able to get him into housing. And this is his first stake in 13 years. Look at that smile. That's awesome. So a couple weeks later, I took him to Bob's Big Boy, and I tried to get him to smile, and he said he wouldn't. I asked why. He said, because you're not buying me steak. So thank you, everybody. InvisiblePeople.tv is the website. InvisiblePeople.tv/movie. You can see the video of Lanny and some other videos right along this topic. And remember, you guys are the ones that are going to end homelessness. Thank you.